the wind stopped that evening. Not because it grew tired, but because Fazza's silence filled the air so completely that even the desert bowed to listen. The dunes stood still, their golden curves frozen in time, as if the whole world waited for one heartbeat to speak again. Fazza sat upon a high dune, the same one he used to race his horses across, the same one that once echoed with laughter, poetry, and love. But today, no sound dared to rise. Not a bird, not a whisper, only the pulse of his own thoughts, moving like shadows beneath his ribs. He looked at the endless horizon, a canvas painted with fire and gold, the kind that once inspired his verses. But now it reflected the ache in his eyes. He spoke softly, to no one but the wind that refused to move. Is greater than even the desert has a heartbeat, he said. But what happens when it stops? To feel the silence of a man. His robe fluttered gently, his crown glimmered faintly, but the power meant nothing now, for silence had become his only truth. He closed his eyes and remembered her laughter beneath the moon, her promise that the wind will always carry your words. Yet tonight, even the wind was afraid of carrying his pain too far. He lifted a handful of sand, warm, golden, faithful, and let it slip through his fingers. Each grain reminded him of a memory he couldn't hold on to. Is greater than everything I touch, he whispered. Eventually returns to the earth. A falcon circled above, its cry sharp and distant, but even that faded quickly, like the sound of a prayer half remembered. The desert, endless and ancient, seemed to watch him in silence. Its stillness became his mirror, its emptiness his confession. He wrote with his finger on the sand, is greater than there are no words tonight, only the echo of what I never said. He thought of the thousands of people who cheered his name, the poems that carried his voice across nations, yet none of it mattered now. Fame was dust, glory was smoke. What he longed for was not applause, but peace, a simple, pure moment where his soul could breathe again. He stood, the desert sun dipping behind him like a curtain of fire. The shadows stretched long, and his own shadow looked like another man, tired, faithful, waiting. Is greater than, do you hear it too? He asked his shadow. The sound of nothingness, how it humbles even kings. He turned toward the west, where the last light of day met the quiet silver of the moon. The two touched for a moment, fire and calm, just like his heart. He removed his headpiece and placed it gently on the sand. The crown, the title, the pride, none of it belonged here. Here, only truth did. Is greater than, O desert, he whispered. You know me better than the world does. You've seen me fall, rise, love, lose, and hide my tears in your sand. The wind finally moved, slow, soft, sacred, as though answering him. It carried his words across the dunes, turning them into music, a song only the desert could understand. He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that comes when pain begins to turn into wisdom. Is greater than, maybe silence, he thought, is not emptiness, but the sound of the soul learning to heal. As the moon rose higher, its light brushed the sand like mercy, and for the first time in many nights, Fazza felt the quiet embrace him, not as punishment, but as peace.